Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we have question number 2, or part 2, from the May-June 2021 POB paper 2. Alright, so before we jump into it, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, share the video. We're growing steadily, 16K strong. We can do much better. Alright, so let's just jump right into it now. Okay, so number 2 from the June-July 2021 paper 2 for CSEC POB. Number 2, we have identify 4 potential sources of conflict within the workplace. Identify 4 potential sources of conflict within the workplace. Alright, so here we have some sources of conflict right here. And so we have gossip, as we stated earlier. That's a cause of conflict within a company. Unfair dismissal, so people getting fired for things they don't even know what they did. You know, some boss get vexed with you, they abandon our procedure and just fire you. That can cause real conflict. Then we had, I thought this one would have stuck out the easiest, the pay, right? Because pay is one of the biggest issues when it comes to conflict on a job. That's why nobody like to tell nobody how much they're working for, because that's real problems right there. Then we have poor working conditions, preferential treatment by the manager, verbal abuse by the manager, naturally sexual harassment, of course, it can cause conflict, job security issues, and in some cases, refusal to allow workers to join a union. So all those are sources of conflict within business. They have some other ones. Possible sources of conflict include discrimination, right? So you discriminate against somebody for their race, gender, or their sexual orientation, as we said before. Unfair wages, poor working condition, company expansion or downsizing that may result in job losses. So when people hear the company might be merge with the next company, or they might be slimming down, you know, jobs going to be lost right there. And so we have some conflict right there. And so all those are sources of conflict within an organization. Good, so you identify any of those 4 and you would have gained your 4 marks, your 4 full marks. B now, list 4 actions that employees may take to gain the upper hand during periods of conflict. So we're talking about industrial action now, industrial action going on here now. So what are 4 ways that employees can gain the upper hand during conflict? Alright, so here we have some strategies used by employees to try and gain the upper hand when you have any conflicts. So I don't want to ask us to list, so we don't really have to go into the outline or the explanation. So we have work to rule, go slow, overtime ban, sick out, sit in, and strike. Alright, so those are some of the things that they can use, the employees can use to try and get the upper hand when we have conflicts. You have strike, sit in, sick out, overtime ban, go slow, work to rule. You also have picketing, right? So all those are things they can do to get the upper hand during conflict time. Good. Next question. So you answer any of those 4, you get a nice 4 marks just like that. Next question. Describe each of the following strategies that may be used in the resolution of conflict in the workplace. Grievance procedures are implemented by employers to investigate and resolve complaints or disputes internally. So all of the going back and asking, that's part of the investigation process. And the main reason why you're investigating is so that you can resolve the complaint or the dispute internally. You don't want it to reach to a point where we have strike and stuff like that. Right? So you want it to be resolved as internally as quickly as possible. So that's the whole aim of the grievance process as it relates to the employees, right? So that's the whole aim of that. Just to investigate. So there are basically steps that they implement to investigate and resolve the conflict or the complaint internally before it reaches to industrial action. So they don't really want to reach the stages. They don't really want to reach industrial action. So they try to get it resolved as soon as possible. A neutral party, the mediator, is brought in to listen to the grievances of both parties involved in the dispute. The aim is to facilitate communication and develop understanding between the aggrieved parties. So they're saying that the mediator's main job, because sometimes things get so tense that they don't want them sitting in the same room. Nobody want to talk to each other. Everybody just was warring, beefing, whatever. They didn't want to talk to each other. So the mediator comes in to try to, settle down things. Let me hear your side. Or bring the two so they can actually sit down and discuss properly with somebody who in the middle. So if they have to come to blows, somebody in the middle to actually part them, stop them. Right? So the mediator does not, however, assume an advisory role nor impose his recommendation on either party. So they are not there to say what should be done. Because even if they make any suggestion, they don't have to take them on. The final responsibility for settling the dispute rests with the two parties, who decides which possible solution will suit their circumstance. So the mediation is all about this. A third party comes in to help the two aggrieved party, the two angry persons, the two warring parties, help them to talk to each other, help them to communicate with each other so that they can together come up with a solution, the two parties. But the mediator is just there to make sure that things go a little smoother than it would have if it's just two persons locked up in a room and they want to kill each other. Not literally, but metaphorically, right? So that's what the mediation is all about. And then the last one they're asking here about is arbitration. What is arbitration? Right? Yes. So in arbitration, a third party is brought in to listen to the grievances of both parties involved in the dispute, but they have to agree beforehand that whatever the arbitrator says, whatever the arbiter says, we're going to settle with that one, right? And so they agree to that beforehand, so that nobody could say, well, he on your side and whatever, and conflict still ensue. They agree beforehand, whatever the person says, we're going to stick with that, and you have some legal just backing to that. So the third party is brought in to listen to the grievances, and they make a decision, and after they hear the case, they make a decision, and whatever they decide, that would be the one. That's how they settle the dispute, right? The decision is legally binding, and the aggrieved party. So if they find that this person was unfair, and so they side with this person, they have to agree with that one, because they agree for them beforehand. They say whatever the arbiter say, we're gonna agree to. Now, unlike mediation, where the mediator ain't really got much legal backing or much staying power in terms of their decision, because they could just ignore the mediator, right? They might end up even fighting past the mediator if things get too tense. The arbiter now, legally backed, they agree that whatever they say, they're going to work with, and so that's why the arbitration process goes, right? You hear both sides, and you come to a decision. So the question is asking us to explain two strategies that may be adopted by management to build good relationships between management and the staff in the workplace, or good industrial relations. And as I said before, this one should be really, really important. Communication. You have to maintain good communication with your staff. And so you avoid any conflict, any misunderstanding, any miscommunication. As you said, you build a system where the workers feel comfortable coming to the management with certain issues. They are more transparent, a literal open door policy, that kind of thing. So you seem as though you build a certain environment in the workplace that would facilitate good communication. Then we have lead by example. If you want to have a workplace with honesty, trustworthiness, hard-working individuals, you have to lead by example as management. You have to come in first, leave last, show that you're not just about handing out work and ain't doing the work. Get your hands dirty now and then. Show how you can be trustworthy, honest. You accept responsibility when you're wrong. Don't throw your workers under the bus. Things like that. So you lead by example, and make sure it's a good example, right? Good example. Don't lead by bad example. Because if you have a bad example, you can create a corporate culture where persons feel they can do certain things that are not, of good approach, good approach, right? So if you hear a boss thief, everybody might start thieving too because they feel as though that's the culture. We don't want that. You want to lead by good example and have a nice culture in that workplace. Then you have, as I said, provide good working conditions. You must have healthy, safe workspaces for people to perform their duties. Not just physical, but also emotional, mental, that kind of thing. You must be able to feel good coming to work, knowing that your environment is healthy, it's safe, healthy both physically, emotionally, mentally, all that thing, right? To avoid any conflict, because conflict can arise if you're being bullied at work, if the AC ain't working, the place too hot, if the bathroom toilet ain't working, you're gonna wait to go, you have to use the male bathroom and you're a female, things like that. So you can get conflict from those things and maintain good working conditions. Reward employees for their effort. When people do good work, you show them. You give them the flowers one time, right? Employee of the week, employee of the month. Give them a little extra money or whatever, a little bonus for what they do. So you reward people for their efforts. Establish clear grievance procedures. So make sure persons know that these are the steps you can take if you have an issue. In some businesses, some workplaces, you don't know who to go to when you have an issue. You don't know what the steps are. You might have some issue that might be a little sensitive, but you don't know where to go. That can create confusion, create conflict. But if there's a clear, outlined procedure, if this happens, you take these steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. If this happens, you take these steps. Good. So there's no conflict, there's no confusion, everything is clear, and so you don't have any frustration and people getting all pent up and angry and stuff like that. Encourage teamwork. Of course, that would help to build morale, build camaraderie among the team, among the workers, and that could overall build a sense of ownership in the company. So everybody looking out for everybody, a sense of togetherness when they encourage teamwork. Right? So all those are steps that management can take to try and, build a good relationship in the workplace. All right. So any of those you would have outlined, you would have gotten your nice 6 marks. I think it was 3 marks each. So no one answer, please. No one word answers. You see all these lines? Use them. That's what they're there for. Right? So a little half here, half there, 3 marks either way, and you're good to go. All right. So that's it for number 1 and 2 for the June-July 2021 POB paper 2. Alright, so that's it for that one. You know what to do now. Again, subscribe, like the video, and share the video. And ensure that you watch part 1 of this video. You should see it on the channel. Question number 1 from the May-June 2021 paper. Make sure you watch that one. And after you watch that one, go to the 2019, the 2018, 2017, 2016. We got all of them on the channel. So take a look at all of those. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.